All right, awesome. We are here with Samuel Adranyi. So excited to talk to you all about the Power Apps Africa Challenge. As many of you know, the Power Apps Africa Challenge is a free opportunity to learn Power Platform, Microsoft Power Platform, for the month of November with daily missions, prizes, practice exams, and a free certification voucher to take the PL100 App Maker. And we are also including the opportunity to win career coaching from some of the top achievers in the world in the Career Power Platform, which Samuel is one of them, a Microsoft MVP. So excited to have you here. And we'd love to hear more about just who you are. How did you get, what are you doing now? Where do you live?
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity. And it's exciting. This is the part two, second round of Power Africa Challenge. I'm always excited when I get opportunities like this to share and also to encourage people, to take decisions or join courses that will transform and change their lives. So yeah, as I was introduced, my name is Samuel Adranyi. I am a Ghanaian, currently based in Accra, Ghana. Fun fact: I used to live in Beaverton, Oregon, up until 2019. Decided to come back home, just to help build, the tech ecosystem and some other stuff. Because my time in the States actually exposed me to a lot of community advocacy, volunteering stuff, and I realized that there was some gap also, in that sector when it comes to, technology in Ghana and Africa as a whole. So it was part of the reasons, to come back home and get stuff done. I am a technology enthusiast. I call myself an early adopter or early consumer of technology. I also sometimes refer to myself as the technology mixologist because I'm the type who likes to bring different technologies to together to solve a problem. So that's why I know people are like, wait a minute, you're an Azure MVP, so what are you doing with with Power Platform? Well, that's the kind of person I am. I try to figure out how technology in general, I mean, whether you like it or yes, the Power Platform is also a technology, so and a tool. So I try to look at how that technology can help solve problems. So
Mhm.
basically, that's me. I love community so much. I like to build community. I like to engage with community. If I'm not doing my day job as a senior software engineer at Mecoma Inc., awesome AP automation company. If I'm not doing my day job there, you can see behind me there's some 3D printers, there's some robots, there's stuff like that. I like to,
Yes.
build things, robots, 3D printing, and I'm a heavy IoT fanatic. That's about Samuel Adranyi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And that's very relatable. I think a lot of people listening can probably think of themselves too as like early adopters. They're the ones that end up fixing things for everyone else. And they
Yeah.
tinker in the evenings and weekends with all this fun technology that's coming
Yeah.
out. You mentioned you're an Azure MVP. Probably a lot of people are curious,
Mm,
like what really piqued your interest in
okay.
Power Platform and why did you start learning Power Platform?
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. I've been with Azure. I think from the early stages, Windows Azure. Right from the early stages of it. And as a pro developer, by initial profession, so to speak, I had opportunity to use first it was Power BI, then Logic Apps because Logic Apps was then part of the Azure ecosystem. So I was intrigued about the way I love automation so much. So I was intrigued about the way I could easily drag and drop stuff from Logic Apps connectors to get things done. And I compare that to my pro developer life to say that if I were to do this using SDKs and stuff, that was going to take a long time. And this sounded like, what, this is easy. This is nice to do. It's the entry level is quite low. So I used Logic Apps for a while, but then Power Platform wasn't out then. So I had experience in Logic Apps, Power BI, which were all in isolation on their own. Then the magic happened in 2019, when I returned to Ghana. When I was starting to help build community. So I was invited to the Nigeria Tech Summit, and it's actually happening again next month. So I was invited to go speak at Tech Summit Nigeria, And there I met Donna. I met Donna Saka. So, and that is where, a lot, I think that is where a lot of the African Power Platform revolution started. It started at that event. So I met Donna, we're just having conversation, chatting, and talking about plans. Then I was going to start my live streams and all that. So we just started jumping the conversation. So it was during Donna's, demo, a presentation. I was like, wait a minute. Now this has really evolved into a complete ecosystem of its own. No, it's time to go back and take a look at it. Because as a pro dev, there's sometimes that you would wish citizen developers or low coders would be able to do things without having to engage, pro developers. So that moment, it just sparked the interest. And then, the birth of Power Platform on Africa was born. So then we started planning for Power Africa, a whole lot of things. But that is how I got crazy or got hooked to Power Platform, and since then it's just been getting it out there, getting it used. So that's the interesting story about how the whole Power Platform connection started. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great story. And of course, there is a huge global ecosystem of people doing Power Platforms. So there's a huge community.
Yeah.
And what we are trying to do with the Power Apps Africa Challenge too is connect people to that community. Yeah. Mentors and all of that. But one of the things I picked up in what you said is, you saw a faster way, even though you could code things manually. You saw a faster way, and that's why we're seeing, business people picking up Power Platform, but also IT pros and developers and just the full gamut of people who are interested in learning it. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
So now you said you work for an amazing organization. How are you helping them with Power Platform? What are you doing with it to make a difference?
Yeah, so interesting. I mean, it's a lot of interesting stories that link to it. So my current role as a senior software engineer at McCorma, I got it through the Power Platform community. So my boss, and big thanks and shout out to Mariano, my boss, he was like, so he reached out to me. I was like, dude, I see all the things you're doing. I have some, role that, requires, someone who knows Power Platform and develop. Are you up? I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So not only did Power Platform get me my current job, it's connected me to a lot of people as well in the community. And then in the organization itself, we're using Power Platform. So we have a product which is built entirely on Power Platform that we have customers using. So my role or my responsibility in the organization there is to pioneer and help build some of these things. So myself and my team, especially the IT team, we pretty much ideate, prototype, and develop all these things on Power Platform, test it out, and then we use it internally to validate that hey, it works well. And then we ship it out to our customers and clients to use. So at the moment, we have a couple of things, in-house systems we built, all running on Power Apps database and the entire, Power Platform ecosystem. And then we have at least 2 products that is out there being used, by our customers also on the Power Platform. So internally, yes, we're consuming it to the fullest.
Yeah, that's awesome. It seems like it's just pervasive in your organization that you're able to do a lot with it, both internally and for customers. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So just thinking about your journey, I'm sure you didn't go from just learning this to becoming an expert overnight. What do you think about the people who might be listening who are thinking about either embarking on a learning path for Power Apps, or they're already on the journey, but they're just looking to grow? What's your advice besides participating in the Power Apps Africa Challenge?
Oh, yeah. First of all, I want to say community.
Yeah.
Right. Aside the Microsoft documentations and Microsoft Learn, which is awesome, has a lot of content. Aside joining Power Africa Challenge, right? The community is a huge one. And this is why I say that even for us, we are still learning it because the platform is evolving. All right. Every day it's evolving. Every day it's changing. So if you don't make an effort to be part of a community that is geared towards growing, your knowledge and skills on the platform, you will do as much as you can on your own. But we've noticed that once you do this in the community, you pretty much grow faster. So for me, aside the self, practice, and like I said, you need to practice a lot. Because the more you practice and the more you use it for different use cases, the more you understand the intricacies of it. Because there are certain solutions you build that might not have you touch on different parts of the Power Platform. So the more you practice and try to build different solutions and scenarios, you understand them more. So for me, top would be practice, get a lot going, join a community that helps you to grow. I mean, the Power Addict community, they're crazy. I mean, in a good way. Like, everyone is almost always ready to help you. All you have to do probably, put it in a forum or Twitter, and one of them is going to come, to you. And there are lots of, channels going out. Flojo, Razani, I mean, a lot of them, April, whole lot of people, Razad, a lot of people. But core things for them, you need to also have, that growth mindset. You need to have that dedication and passion of wanting to learn and wanting to change, the narrative where you are. I know a lot of people who have actually made a difference and been better at Power Platform because they saw an opportunity. And I'll mention two people I used to before as an example. Samit Saini moved from being an airport security guard and now head of innovation when it comes to the power ecosystem at Heathrow. My own sister, Foying transform Sterling Bank by building an internal power apps. So wherever you find yourself, there is that one need that you can use as a stepping stone to get into and learn better. You can say, wait a minute, we don't have a leave request system. We don't need to go and purchase any overly expensive or complicated system. I can build something, and there are templates in Power Apps you can use. I can use this template, tweak it to meet our org needs, use approval flows, and by the time your whole organization is now using this thing, and they'll be coming with more requests. Hello, Sam, we're trying to do this thing. Can you build a Power App for us to use it? And that's how you grow. The community is ever open to help you, but you need to take that first step. So for me, community, yourself, learn, be passionate about things, have that growth mindset, and be ready to make a change. Try to be the change, and the rest is just going to be history.
Awesome. Love that. We're trying to include all of that in Power Apps Africa, getting people connected to the community, getting you some real projects to work on, like a real assignment, because that's tough to, if your organization's not using Power Platform right now, looking outside of you where you're maybe have something in your community or a nonprofit or something that you can help to gain the skills. So you can get certified, stand out for your next role. So awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that advice. I think that'll be super helpful. You share a lot of advice with people because you give so much to the community, and that's why Microsoft has awarded you Microsoft's Most Valuable Professional award 3 years in a row. So you continue to give back. I just love that, and I want to hear how do you what drives you to do that, and helping others, and what drives you.
I sometimes think I was probably brought to the earth to do that because as as far as I can tell, I have always had the passion to share knowledge. So right from when I was in grade 3, grade 4, that's when I started having access to computers. And from that stage, it's always been, once I learn to do something, I want to share with people. And I've always had the opportunity to, help teach or help pass on the knowledge. And it's just something I like to do. And the big lesson is that a lot of times we fail to let people know what our capabilities are. And in doing that, we fail or we miss out on a lot of opportunities. So I believe strongly that in as much as sharing goes to help a lot of people who are learning from you, it comes back to you. And again, like I'm saying, I want to use like my current role as an example. If I was just hiding in my own corner doing my own thing and I wasn't sharing, Mariano wouldn't have seen me. They wouldn't have noticed that this guy, does a lot of stuff. Even though I was just sharing, like people, they wouldn't have noticed someone does a lot of, Power Platform, Azure IoT stuff, right? So that desire and that willingness to share, is just what drives me, because I feel that when we all are here at the same level, we get to reason on the same wavelength, we get to understand ourselves in the same wavelength, and then we can drive the change we want. But if I am here and they are here, it's difficult to understand. You might have a good idea, you might have a good vision, but people here will not understand because they can't reason or they can't think on the same level as you're thinking. So it's good to bring people up to that level so you can reason. So for me, it's just a sheer passion, so I would go out of my way to get that hardware, to get that knowledge, to get that skill, and then come live and share it with you and mess up in doing it, and we all learn together.
Yeah, I love that idea of just the shared passion too, and just how it helps yourself continue to learn as you connect with other people. And I've been a little bit of a speaker myself. I know sometimes that can really drive you to actually learn it better, because you don't feel like you go into an audience to share something, you feel like you better know it inside and out.
Exactly. Yeah.
So all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're working nights and weekends too, like learning this to make sure you know it so you can present it. So awesome. Well, congratulations on 3 years as an MVP. And we just want to thank you so much for volunteering to be a career coach in the Power Apps Africa Challenge. Players have the opportunity to win some career coaching with you one-on-one, which is really great. So we're going to let everybody know to share with your friends this November, 1 month of free Power Apps, Microsoft Power Platform training. And you can get certified and win prizes and join the community. So just do it, right?
Just do it. Just do it. Yeah. There's nothing to lose. You get to you learn at the end, just do it. You never know the people are going to connect with. I mean, I've met a lot of interesting people through this community, and hey, you get to get skills as well. Hey, some of us wish we had this years back when we were learning a lot of these things. So this is the opportunity to grab it. Yeah.
That is true. Take the opportunity. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great day.
You too.